I want to talk about a very risky trading strategy that many beginner traders use. And I understand why it's being done. So it's not like those people are being illogical. They're just not quite looking at things from the proper perspectives. And they're really setting themselves up for, like I said, some very risky situations, especially in the learning phase, because that's who's at risk here are those out there trying to learn, those that aren't quite confident. And that is okay. That's part of the process, not being confident, looking to learn. But you need to be very careful because you are potentially setting yourself up for a very, very bad outcome. What do I mean by this? Well, let me ask you a question. When you ask somebody a question, what would you like in return from an effort standpoint? Somebody that gives you great effort to answer the question, or somebody that makes no effort at all, makes a partial effort, makes a haphazard effort, right? That's hopefully a rhetorical question. Well, of course, Clay, if I'm asking somebody a question, I would want them to give me a full effort response, because if they don't give me a full effort response, well, then that means that they could be leaving some things out, and maybe they're not maliciously doing it, but they could just be leaving stuff out that's not actually giving me the true answer that I want and need to, at the core, answer my question. And I bring this up because this happens quite a bit. And I mean, I've been around since 2013 on YouTube, and I don't think I've ever done a video really explaining why this approach to learning, why this strategy to use within your quest of becoming a consistent trader is very risky. So to set up some context here, let's go through just a comment and exchange that I had on YouTube itself, and it'll make more sense here. But so this person says, what do you think of CPSH? So, all right, they're asking me about a stock. Now, first off, this has got a beginner. This is very risky in and of itself. Why? Well, in regards to what? Are you asking from a day trader standpoint, from a swing trading standpoint, from an investing standpoint? Because all three of those areas are going to be different answers depending on your perspective. But when you don't define your perspective, I mean, this person is already opening themselves up to being misled. Again, not intentionally, but when you ask such an open-ended question, the person answering it, maybe you're asking it at the core from a swing trader perspective, but the person is answering it from a day trader perspective. So right there, that's a very, very risky way to go about it. And that's just quite frankly a bad question, because again, you're opening yourself up to so many different possibilities. But that's not really the problem here. So this person, or I reply back and say, hey, if you're interested in learning more, you can come join my community, which is where you can learn, you can network with other people, and where things are better organized and structured from that point of view. But yeah, it does cost money because, and I'll get to the why it costs money here in a little bit, but it has something to do with time, as a little spoiler alert. So then he replies back, what do you think of it? I don't want to sign up. I just have a question. So here we go with the thing, or with the main dynamic here. And where again, I understand this person's perspective, but they're not necessarily looking at other perspectives. So here this person is right here. And in their little world right here, they have this right here. They have a question, right? So just one. And they're looking over here at me. And I also have my world, and they're just saying, hey, I have a question. So, I mean, what's the big deal? It's just one question. It's just a basic question. It's just which again, I understand. From their perspective, in their little world, they have one question. But let's put myself, or I want you to put yourself in my shoes, or in somebody else's shoes that maybe you're asking questions to, that have a whole bunch of, not a whole bunch, but they have followers. And you know that, or maybe you don't know, that's the whole problem here, that, well, in my world, I have this. Well, I have this question from this person over here. And sure, in their world, it's only a question, but then I have another question right here. And sure, from that person's perspective, it's only, well, a question. And then over here, I have this person who's got only a question. So that's right there. And then over here, there's another person who it's only one question, Clay. Well, then I have that question here. So do you see what's going on here? Is I understand from your perspective, it's a question. But from my perspective, a question starts to become many questions, which is where the risk comes into play because could I go and start to answer these questions? Yes, I could. Could I and should I give all these questions full effort? No, I shouldn't, because from a time management perspective, out of just flat out loyalty to my family, to my friends, to my real life, I don't have the time to sit there and actually give you full-blown 100% effort answers. Again, I could give haphazard answers. I could give zero effort answers. But is that really what you want? I don't think that's what you want, and that's why I'm not giving it to you. But when I link you to my classes or to my community, that's because, you know what? When you come in there, it is worth my time. It is something that I need to address and put full effort behind. Why? Well, because you are a paying customer. And at that point, I'm all in with you. My loyalty lies with you from a time management perspective because there's only 24 hours in a day. So just realize that when you are asking somebody a question, even if they answer it, you're still at massive risk because they have a bunch of other people asking them a question. And are they actually giving you a full effort? Now, to be fair, maybe they are. They very well could be giving you a maximum effort answer. But I can speak from experience, and I'm sure at your job, I mean, if you're getting a million questions from a million different people, yeah, from each person, hey, I only have a question for you, but that all adds up and you get bombarded, and before you know it, you're not getting anything done that you should be getting done. Because again, time is just limited. So just be very careful and understand, I don't think I finished up this conversation. So then I said, no problem, cheers. Then he says, you didn't answer. I said, yeah, I linked you to where you could find an answer. Just say you don't want to answer it without money. Okay, yeah. And then I'm not saying everybody does this, but again, hopefully at this point, that's not a good look. Oh, you're doing it just for the money. Yes, I am doing it just for the money because I need to value my time because every time that I'm spending doing this is time away from family, friends, hobbies, and I enjoy doing this, but I got to manage time and other people have to manage their time. So before you go out there and adapt the attitude of, well, I'm going to ask this person a question because it's just one question, you could easily, very realistically, be getting a partial answer, a haphazard effort answer, a zero effort answer. And in my mind, the most honest thing I can do in these situations is just admit, hey, I can't give you full effort right now. I'm willing to give you full effort if you want to go in, put your money where your mouth is, put some skin in the game with me, become a paying customer, then like I said, let's go, let's get to it. If you don't, that's totally fine. But I just don't have the time to give you the effort that you actually deserve and require for your question. So like I said, when you're trying to learn, when you're trying to get consistent, first off, just make sure you're asking good questions, right? The question here was a terrible question, so open-ended. But even beyond that, even if it is a good question, realize that the answer you get, you're putting yourself at risk of, not getting what you probably need, what would actually be, what's going to truly at the core answer your question. So hopefully this kind of shares some light. And now I have a video to link these people to, especially the ones that are like, oh, I see. You're only going to answer if I pay. Correct. For the reasons discussed right here. So now hopefully we have a better understanding of each other. Because think about the alternative. The alternative is I just make zero effort or a haphazard effort. I answer your question and then I just totally mislead you because you only have a partial truth, maybe a wrong truth, because I got to get through all these questions. So just consider the flip side of, there is going to be a payment required, but the flip side is, a whole lot of unknown risk, which is why that strategy is definitely walking on some thin ice. So if this helps, hopefully this gives you a little bit of perspective of where I'm coming from, and we can ideally find some common ground. So that's all I have to say on this one, and hopefully it's kind of opening your eyes. It's hoping you reconsider just how you kind of go about your learning strategy and your quest to become a consistent trader. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.